Have you ever wondered about one of the biggest puzzles in Christianity? Why would an all-powerful God choose to become a vulnerable human? Well, today we're going to dive into the mind of a 4th century theologian, Gregory of Nyssa, who had a fascinating answer. He didn't see it as a contradiction at all. He saw it as a brilliant divine strategy.
So, this is the paradox right at the heart of it all. How can ultimate weakness actually be the ultimate form of power? It sounds completely backward, doesn't it? But for Gregory, the answer to this question reveals the very nature of God. Okay, let's get into it.
All right, first up, the divine dilemma. To really get what Gregory is talking about, you have to understand the problem he was trying to solve. So picture this. Humanity is trapped, held captive by evil and death. God needs to stage a rescue mission. The big question is, how do you pull it off?
As Gregory saw it, God had two basic options. He could go the route of tyrannical force, just show up with overwhelming power and completely crush the enemy. It's simple, it's effective, but is it truly just? Or he could come up with a plan that's rooted in perfect justice and wisdom, a solution that doesn't just win, but wins in the absolute right way. Gregory says God, of course, chose the second path.
And this part is absolutely crucial. For Gregory, the solution couldn't just be about power. No, it had to express all of God's attributes in perfect harmony. We're talking goodness, wisdom, justice, and power, all working together seamlessly. Any plan that sacrificed one for the others just wouldn't be a truly divine plan.
So that brings us to God's incredible, almost unbelievable solution. And this is where we get to the idea of the ultimate disguise. It's a move so unexpected, it completely turns our idea of power on its head. Yeah, instead of this massive show of force, God chose a show of vulnerability. The creator of the universe entered creation itself, not as some conquering king, but as a helpless baby. That is the Incarnation, and it is the very heart of this divine strategy. And this amazing quote from Gregory gets right to the why. He says the divinity had to be hidden, it had to be veiled inside human nature. It was a disguise, you see, but a disguise with a very, very specific purpose, to lay a trap for the very enemy that had trapped humanity.
Now, this is my favorite part. To make this really complex idea click, Gregory uses these brilliant, unforgettable analogies that just bring the whole strategy to life. Let's break them down.
First up, we've got his most famous one, the divine fishhook. So imagine the enemy, evil, death, the whole shebang, as this huge, hungry fish just lurking in the darkness. It sees something it thinks it can devour, something it desperately wants. And here's how the trap works. The bait? That's Christ's humanity. It looks weak, it looks mortal, it looks like something death can easily swallow. But hidden inside that tasty-looking bait is the hook, God's indestructible, divine nature. So when death goes to swallow the man, it gets caught on the God within and is literally torn apart from the inside. It's an absolutely masterful trap.
But wait, it's not just a trap. Gregory also gives us another image, a doctor with a sick patient. And this totally shifts the focus, right? It's not just about a cosmic battle anymore, it's about an act of healing. What if the problem isn't just an enemy you have to defeat, but a sickness that needs a cure?
The thinking here is just so profound. Humanity is sick, right? And it's either unable or just plain unwilling to take the medicine it needs. So what does the divine doctor do? He hides the powerful cure, the divinity, inside something we can actually stomach, the food of our own human nature. By embracing this, we end up consuming the very cure that heals us from the inside out.
And Gregory's got one more incredible image for us, a goldsmith. He looks at our human nature and sees something precious, like pure gold. But it's been mixed with all this worthless junk, this dross. So what do? You don't just toss the gold out, you purify it. And that's exactly what the Incarnation is all about. The intense, purifying fire of the divine nature is brought right into contact with our own. Now, this fire doesn't destroy the gold. It could never do that. No, it burns away the dross, the evil that corrupted it in the first place, leaving our human nature totally restored to its original, precious state. So when you put all these pieces together, the fishhook, the medicine, the purifying fire, you start to see this beautiful cosmic irony at the heart of Gregory's argument. This is the moment of the great reversal.
The very same force that tricked humanity into this whole mess is now itself masterfully deceived. It's a perfect flip of the script. It thought it was consuming weakness, but oops, it was actually swallowing indestructible power. And this completely reframes what we think of as justice. For Gregory, divine justice isn't just about punishment or getting even. It's more elegant than that. It's about beating the enemy at his own game, using deception to defeat the great deceiver. It's not just a win, it's a checkmate.
And really, what this all boils down to is this. God's ultimate power isn't about brute force. It's about infinite wisdom. I mean, any old tyrant can crush their opponent, but it takes a true genius to set things up so the opponent actually defeats himself.
And that finally brings us to the ultimate goal of this whole grand divine strategy. Because for Gregory, the point was never ever just about winning a fight. It was about something much deeper.
This line from Gregory really gets to the very heart of the matter. The end game isn't conquest, it's cure. It's not about destroying an enemy, it's about healing a patient. The fish was caught, yes. The deceiver was deceived. The fire purified the gold. But all of that happened for one single reason: to heal and restore humanity, to bring us back to who we were always meant to be. It's a rescue mission that is, through and through, rooted in love.
And so, we're left with this question to think about. In a world that so often defaults to brute force, what can we learn from a strategy that values wisdom over might, healing over conquest, and finds its ultimate power in the disguise of weakness? It's definitely something to chew on.